There's this saying that there's several ways to kill a cat, which means that there are several ways to arrive at one thing. The key thing is the MPP majority caucus is saying that there's lack of confidence in the finance minister, and it's also affected credibility in the market, and those are the key reasons why we think he should go. Now, being that these two key things are more than enough reason, because investors' response or market response to finance minister has been impacted because of just that. And we think that with his going, confidence will be restored in the system and people will be much more willing to spend. And in fact, let me be frank about it. The actions we took in terms of the press relief over the past 3-4 weeks, I think has really, in a way, I mean, history will judge it, but I think it's toned down a lot of the pressures that were in the system, to the extent that even price increments or, the way people were going about charging for anything anyhow has tailored down. And I really think it's impacted. Now, the key thing here is that the NDC approach, where they've listed about seven issues, we're not in support of that path. And I'll cite even just one thing.
So if you're not in support of that path, are you suggesting that you feel he is not serving the purpose or he has failed, but you don't want to admit that he's not serving the purpose or he has failed?
Let me say that the items they've listed, the 7 items, we don't think all of those are right.
Which ones are right then, if not all of them?
And I, for instance, can start with even just one. The very key one of conflict.
So they talk about, let me just enumerate: conflict of interest, unconstitutional withdrawal from the consolidated fund, illegal payment of oil revenues into offshore accounts, deliberate and dishonest misreporting of economic data to Parliament. There's that issue about the IMF and our debt ceiling and massaging and putting this here and there. There's fiscal recklessness leading to the crash of the Ghana cedi, incompetence and frightening ineptitude and gross mismanagement of the Ghanaian economy. Which ones do you disagree with?
So, for instance, gross mismanagement of the economy. In all fairness, I really think that things were working out okay until we got hit by COVID and Russia. I mean, in all fairness. And then the very first thing which I've said is that to determine conflict of interest is something that the Supreme Court has to do. We cannot do that in Parliament. You understand? So why go at certain things that cannot be determined in Parliament? And that is one key thing. So it would have been better if they maybe would stick with some of the key things we are talking about, which is that credibility and then confidence in the finance minister. And those are two things you can also use as part of your censorship. I mean, when people lose confidence in the president, they can go and ask for impeachment.
Are you suggesting that if the minority had said some of these things, you would have supported that? But it is simply because you are not in support of some of the points they raised.
Some of the points they've raised, and wow. That is, okay. and it can lead to criminalizing the finance minister, leading to his arrest.
But if he does something that is criminal, it is criminal.
I'm saying that the path chosen, and we think we can leave that to the courts to determine. Right. And the key thing is to have him removed by the president, and our paths are different. So let me be clear once again that we are very strong on the fact that we think the market response to finance.
The market is averse to him. I get that point. Just